In this video, I'm going to rank every single dual model weapon in Fortnite history from worst to best. What is a dual model weapon, you may ask? Well, these are weapons that look different in their green through blue versions than they do in their purple through gold versions, right? So take the infantry rifle as an example. This is a perfect example that will be on this list. I'm ranking these weapons as one unit though, right? So the pump shotgun, for example, will just be ranked in one spot as the pump shotgun, not the pump in one spot and then the spaz shotgun in another, right? There's just no point in me ranking this same weapon twice. I'm also talking about the weapon models being unique within that specific weapon. So no, I will not be considering weapons who have different models throughout chapters, right? So think like the Deagle coming back in chapter 5 and the TAC AR coming back in chapter 5. This video is focusing on dual model weapons for the same weapon from common through legendary, if that makes sense. I will also not be ranking mythics or exotics, right? As almost every single exotic and almost all the chapter 5 mythics look different, and those weapons already have their own ranking videos, so you can go check out those if you want to. Sorry for the super long intro, just wanted to get everything ironed out there in the beginning. If you do go on to enjoy this video, please use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop to support my channel, and let's get right into this ranking video. My number 14 spot, it's gonna be the revolver. Now the revolver is actually a really interesting weapon for this video because the revolver in the common through blue version was like that for a long time. It didn't end up getting a purple and legendary version until multiple years after the game came out. And honestly, this is one of the few videos that I make where the last place spot actually isn't a bad weapon. It's just the rest of this list is really just absolutely stacked. And unfortunately, I think the revolver just kind of falls to the bottom naturally. It's a slow firing pistol, requires a ton of accuracy, and I feel like there's just not a lot of people that are really good with the revolver. And another weapon that kind of fits that same build, the number 13 spot, is the scoped assault rifle. So yes, you had the first ever model of the scoped assault rifle, which was the same throughout all its rarities, but then they ended up changing the models entirely where the base scoped assault rifle would look different in its common through blue than in its purple through legendary, and of course that means it's qualified to be on this list. Unfortunately, the scoped assault rifle has kind of fallen down the totem pole of assault rifles in general, not to mention just assault rifles with scopes. It was a neat idea way back in chapter 1 when it was the only scoped assault rifle we had ever seen, but now you've got weapons like the MK7, the Hollow Twister, the Twin Mag AR, and yeah, the scoped AR doesn't really stand a chance against those scoped assault rifles. And yeah, I'm just gonna stop talking about this weapon now before I say scoped assault rifle for like the 20th time in 10 seconds. And my number 12 spot is the Chapter 2 pistol. So you're going to see a trend here with the introduction of Chapter 2. This is where a lot of the unique weapon models came into play. Not all of them, but a good amount of them, and the pistol is one of them, right? And I'm telling you right now, that purple and legendary pistol was an absolute beam in Chapter 2 Season 1 specifically. I remember there were people taking this thing over ARs. It can be really good, but unfortunately, I can't put it much higher on this list, and as you guys are going to see, this list is just stacked with great weapons. And once you reach the end of this video, you'll see, yeah, right, he really couldn't have put the Chapter 2 pistol any higher, and I truthfully believe that. It's not a bad weapon at all. It's just there's 11 other better weapons on this list, flat out. Moving on to one of those weapons at the number 11 spot is the heavy assault rifle, or as a lot of you guys probably call it, the AK. Now, when I was going through these weapons, right, and I was doing my ranking and I was looking at the stats, I was just thinking to myself, when has the heavy assault rifle ever been like the meta assault rifle in a season? Maybe for like the first week it ever got added before it got those major nerfs back when it was hitting like 96 headshots. But since that time, right, ever think about when the heavy assault rifle has been the meta go-to assault rifle in a season? I genuinely could not tell you when it has ever happened. And that's just because I genuinely believe it is a really mid assault rifle, right? It's got that horrible bloom, right? Like you literally cannot fully auto this thing, but when you tap fire it, if you hit 2-3 shots back to back, you're going to shred someone's shield. But again, like I just genuinely think it's one of those weapons where it's never the best assault rifle in the loot pool, and for that reason I couldn't put it any higher. Moving on to my number 10 spot, that is the hunting rifle. Again, this is another weapon that didn't get a different purple through legendary model for quite a long time. It actually released, if I remember correctly, in Chapter 2 Season 3, the purple and legendary hunting rifle came out. And truthfully, I do see the appeal with the hunting rifle. I see why people love the hunting rifle. If you guys remember that crazy Tfue clip where he pops off like 7 or 8 headshots in a row with the hunting rifle. With the best players, this is going to be one of the best guns in the game. But personally for me, I was always a bolt action sniper over the hunting rifle guy. It's really that simple. And since this is my list, yeah, that's why the hunting rifle falls below the bolty, which, yeah, we'll talk about at some point in this list. At my number 9 spot is the Chapter 1 Burst Assault Rifle. And some of you guys may not remember that this weapon does have a purple and legendary version that is a different weapon model, right? That's going to be the FAMAS, but then the common through blue one is just, you know, your regular OG burst that you guys all remember. Now, I have talked about this weapon so many times in the last few videos, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This is just another one of those assault rifles that I believe is just a very mid assault rifle, just like the heavy AR. Is this ever the best assault rifle in a meta? In my opinion, no. Not to mention the fact that the FAMAS was literally only in the game for a couple weeks and has never returned in that true purple or legendary form, but I guess that's not entirely the case, but I'll talk about that when I get there. I'm telling you guys, that blue burst is not as good as you remember it to be. Moving on to number 8, that's going to be the Chapter 2 Burst Assault Rifle, and in its high tier known as the AUG. And just for the rest of this video, when I say high tier, I'm referring to that purple and legendary version. This weapon being changed to a 2-round burst is the best possible buff it could have gotten, right? I know some people back in the day were arguing, right? Is this a buff or a nerf? It is 100% a buff for a burst weapon, right? Because most of the time you don't even hit that third shot, but you hit the first two. So that means you could just reset to first shot accuracy so much quicker instead of wasting time for that third bullet to come out. And I've said this multiple times in a couple recent videos actually, but I believe the AUG was the first ever assault rifle to dethrone the SCAR as the best assault rifle in Fortnite history. The AUG was absolute peak on controller, especially in the beginning of Chapter 2, like Season 1 and Season 2. And I think I'm going to catch some slack for this pick, putting the Chapter 2 burst ahead of the Chapter 1 burst, but right, you got to take off those nostalgia glasses, and yeah, once you do, I think the Chapter 2 is better than the Chapter 1 version. And my number 7 spot is kind of a confusing one, right? It is the submachine gun, right? Your basic submachine gun, and in the high tier version is the P90, but not really. Yes, it does get the P90 weapon model, but it has different stats from the actual P90/compact SMG weapon that was introduced in Season 4 or Season 5, whatever. You guys get what I'm talking about. I made that mistake in a previous video, so thank you for all the people who corrected me on that video. And then it gets even more confusing because there was a time when there was a base purple and legendary version of this SMG with the same weapon model as its common through blue version. That's the same for the Chapter 2 burst assault rifle as well. It's just really weird. I don't know why they make it confusing like this, but sure enough, this weapon definitely qualifies to be on this list given what I have previously said. And like I've said in previous videos, it is your good all-around base SMG, right? It's not terrible, it's not amazing, right? Like, it's not going to knock your socks off. There are better SMGs you're going to find, but you're certainly going to find worse SMGs in this one. It's just all around a good close quarters option. And my number 6 spot is going to be specifically the Chapter 2 bolt action sniper, right? If you remember, all through Chapter 1, the bolt action sniper had the same weapon model through every single version, but that changed with Chapter 2, which is how it goes for a lot of the weapons on this list. It also changes how the weapon sounds in that purple and legendary version, but that doesn't really matter for this list. And similar to the SMG I just talked about, right, like, this is an all-around good weapon. Are you going to find better snipers out there? Yes, I believe there are better snipers in the bolt, but are there worse snipers in the bolt action? Certainly, yes, there are. But you're gonna get 100 and plus damage unless, you know, we're talking about that gray bolt that was in the game for like a week, if you guys can remember that. If you remember that, you are an absolute OG. Let me know that in the comment section down below. But yeah, anyways, besides those bum versions of the bolt action, you are going to get great damage. You're going to one-shot somebody without shield. A headshot is going to wipe somebody with shield. And yeah, like I said earlier in this video, I was always a bolt action fan over the hunting rifle, and that's just my preference. All right, we are now inside the top 5, and at my number 5 spot is going to be the infantry rifle. To me, this weapon was the kind of inspiration for this video. I mentioned it in the intro, and it actually was one of, if not the first ever dual model weapon we ever saw, right? In the common through blue version, you get that old, you know, World War II looking M1 Grand infantry rifle, and then in the purple and legendary version, you get that more advanced, modern looking weapon. And the infantry rifle is a criminally slept on weapon, right? Of course, I'm talking about the post-buff version, where they changed it from being a projectile weapon when it was atrocious to now being hit scan and really, really good. This is a weapon that is beloved by the pro scene. I remember seeing clips of the day of Mongrel in his prime, right? Just absolutely eviscerating players out of the air with the purple and legendary infantry rifle. That thing is unbelievable. It's one of the most underrated assault rifles of all time, I think. The fact that it resets to first shot accuracy almost instantly after you shoot that shot means it's so easy to just fire off 2 rounds back to back and just put somebody down with 150 health and shield. Yes, it will get outgunned by those fully auto assault rifles, and no, it is not the best assault rifle on this list, but it certainly deserves to be within the top 5. At my number 4 spot is going to be the Chapter 2 rocket launcher, right? Now, I will say I'm actually not a fan of the rework to the rocket launcher, or I guess not rework, but the changed weapon model. I think the OG rocket launcher model was just the best. I don't think it's been beaten to this day. But regardless of how the actual weapon model looks, this weapon performs incredibly, right? Especially in those high tiers when you're doing like 115 to 130 damage, including splash damage, I should add. This is one of those weapons that you see on the ground and you need to take every single time, right? You're never going to leave behind a purple or legendary RPG especially, but even in the blue version, when you still can do 100 damage to the body, this RPG is incredibly useful. And I'm going to give you guys a little trivia question right now. When's the last time we saw the RPG in Fortnite? Let me know if you know the answer to that in the comment section down below. At my number 3 spot is the tactical shotgun. Now, if you guys remember way back in the day, the TAC shotgun used to not have a legendary version, but it had a purple version that had the same exact weapon model as the other versions of the TAC, and the OG purple TAC was an absolute beast. But it's not crazy to say that the new weapon model purple and legendary TAC are even better. Those things hit like a truck. They have unbelievable structure damage that lets you take walls incredibly easily, and it's really just the age-old debate, right? Are you a TAC shotgun guy or are you a pump shotgun guy? Both weapons can get the job done in most cases, and there is a reason why they have tried to remake the TAC shotgun through so many other versions of shotguns, right? Think like the auto shotgun or the twin fire auto shotgun. Weapons like these are honestly just reskinned TAC shotguns. It's that simple, and this is an OG weapon and it deserves to be inside the top 3. It's a really good weapon. At number 2 is going to be just the basic M16, right? Your regular assault rifle, and then in the high tier, it's known as the SCAR. What else do I have to say about this weapon? You want to talk about the best, just kind of all-around, do-it-all weapon in Fortnite history. It is this weapon. At close range, medium, long range, the assault rifle is always going to be good. It is a staple of Fortnite. I don't even have to talk about the SCAR in specific, right? Because you guys know and love the SCAR. It's just an incredible assault rifle. It was the best assault rifle in Fortnite for years on end. This choice of assault rifle right here was the go-to weapon choice for that first slot in your inventory for so long, and for a good reason. It's just all around really good. But at my number 1 spot today, guys, was truthfully anything ever going to beat it out? It's the pump shotgun, and in the purple and legendary version, it's known as the spaz shotgun. When you talk about iconic Fortnite weapons, I mean, maybe the SCAR is at number 1, but the pump shotgun truthfully has a great argument to be there. This is Fortnite's cherished weapon, right? This is the weapon that honestly made people fall in love with Fortnite. You want to talk about double pump? When most people hear the word Fortnite and you ask them to think of the first 5 things that come to their mind, the pump shotgun has to be up there, and for a good reason. This thing back in the day was doing like 240 in a common variant. Obviously that's not the case anymore, but the spaz still can one-shot headshot. There's a reason it's used in, you know, all the box fights, used by the pros in like nearly every season that it's in, and in my opinion, in the shotgun category is really only rivaled by the Havoc pump shotgun and the Gatekeeper shotgun. And you know what, maybe the Jawa scatter blaster from this Star Wars season. I don't know, that's kind of a crazy take, but yeah, the pump shotgun, it's unbelievable. It definitely deserves to be at the number 1 spot, and there probably shouldn't be any argument on this one. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that ranking video. Thank you so much to everybody who commented this idea. I had this idea written down months ago, but I kept seeing it commented by a bunch of you guys in my community posts. I'm telling you, I read all the responses from those community posts, so you know who you are if you commented this idea. Thank you so much for that. And let me know in the comment section of this video down below what you would like me to rank next, because just like this video, your idea might just be my next video. If you did go on to enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.